let's go over here and pick up all the fishing challenge stuff, because those ones are sort of, I don't want to say easy, but easier to do than the foraging ones or the cooking ones. I might check the cooking one though too, because it might be something that I can do. Okay. Hold that thought. Oh, I will take the pumpkin seeds, because I do have some pumpkin seeds to plant. Okay. Sadrud, honey chub, tench, stone loach, common perch. Take them all. Hedge mustard, because those are easy to get. And what about the cooking one? All right, see ya, Chris. Thank you. All right, I need to place some pumpkin when I get back to the house. I need to harvest all of this along the way. 1, 2. Because I need 12 of these. 3. 4. Yep, orange pumpkin seeds. No, hang on. Bean seeds. Where can I place the bean seeds? Do those not have to go in? It's not giving me like a do those not have to be planted? Inspect the seed. Huh. Water them even though it says I don't have to at the moment. But you've never done a hard day's work in your life, Pip. Okay, time to stash things in the pantry. Alright, let's try to make 4 servings of the bywater dish. Oh no, go back, because I need to use a tater in something. We need to go up. Oh yeah, I will always call that out, Alex. Like the Peter Jackson films are literally my favorite film franchise of all time. Up there with Star Wars. Those two are tied neck and neck. The Star Wars series, the Lord of the Rings series. But every time someone says anything about like Rings of Power sucks, they changed too much. It's like you've never but in the same breath they'll praise Peter Jackson's films. It's like you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. Because Peter Jackson did all sorts of stuff. I've ranted about it multiple times. Hector will be like, not again! Alright, we don't want this to go up or down. Okay. Store in the backpack. So yeah, I gotta make those 4 times. Let's go up. Oh no, I should have. Ah! There we go. Yeah, it's same thing with like George Lucas, Harry Potter, or George Lucas, what is her name? J.K. Rowling, George Martin with Song of Ice and Fire, like Stephen King with the Black Tower trilogy series. Like none of these authors are ever done with those series until they're dead. And I've always loved, like, as much as I love the Silmarillion, the Silmarillion was mostly completed when Tolkien died, and all Christopher Tolkien really did was just get it edited and put out there. So I'm okay with that one, but everything that came after that Christopher Tolkien published, I personally, even though I enjoy reading it, because it's all just notes and variants and all the things that Tolkien did over the course of his life, I don't consider any of that to be canon. Because for me, canon ends the day the author dies. Like, when the author is dead, that's the day canon ends. Like, anything that's done after an author's death, it's really hard to call that canon because we don't know what the author would have done with that work had they still been alive. And even though a son or an editor might have worked very closely with the author, it's not the same thing. It's just not. Now, that being said, I'm never going to throw away, like... Right, like, I'm not going to... As an example, Brian Herbert has published a boatload of books since his father's death, right? So, Frank Herbert writes the Dune series. It's an amazing series of books. He dies. He leaves behind a bunch of notes. Brian Herbert goes off, takes those notes. He's established as a science fiction author on his own. So he takes those notes and says, hey, Kevin J. Anderson, let's co-write. And they spun out 30 additional Dune novels over the last, 40 years, right? And since he is in charge of the Herbert estate, he can call those canon. But at the same time, Frank Herbert's no longer here. So, are they canon in the same way that the original Dune works were canon? No. In my opinion, they are not. However, I still enjoy greatly all of the stuff that they have done since then. And it's just a different version of Dune. Like, it's not Frank Herbert's Dune. It's Brian Herbert's Dune. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just as the History of Middle-earth, the Children of Húrin, and all of those books, those are Christopher Tolkien's Middle-earth, not J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth. Correct. But that's another good... It's exactly the same thing. That is Brandon Sanderson's Wheel of Time, not Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time. Like, there is a distinction between the two, because Brandon Sanderson's version of the characters is very different than Robert Jordan's version of the characters. Even though, yes, they were edited by Harriet, even though Sanderson is a brilliant writer, I mean, he definitely earned his right to be there. He is not Robert Jordan. And no matter how many notes he read, and no matter how many interviews he did, no matter how many, recordings he listened to, his thought process and his writing process is different. So I have a weird take on that, I know, and a lot of people don't agree with me, and that's okay. But it's just it's kind of like there's different timelines. It's like we have the J.R.R. Tolkien Middle-earth, and then we have the Christopher Tolkien Middle-earth, and they can both exist side by side. But when people quote to me, and they'll pull things from the History of Middle-earth or the Children of Húrin, or they'll quote me some the 37th book that Christopher Tolkien published when he was 92 years old, and they're like, but see, J.R.R. Tolkien said this in his notes from, this is the 17th variant, and he said this over here, and I'm like, no, sorry, that's Christopher Tolkien put that out there, and that's Christopher Tolkien's version of events. We don't know that was J.R.R. Tolkien's version. Because I'll tell you what, this notebook is one of I've probably got 50 of these notebooks. And these contain daily notes, jots, journals, sketches. When you are a creative individual, your brain is always doing this. It's always rah! And you're just vomiting on page. And so you're always, George Lucas is another great example of this. Star Killer versus Skywalker, and just the variance of characters changing and the Darth Vader story evolving over time. As someone who is a creative individual, I have probably 150 variations on any character that I've put into a book. There's probably 150 variations that character has gone through, right? Minimum of 30 to 40, up to 150 of things that I have changed about a given character before they end up in the final published version of something that I put out there for the public to purchase and consume. If someone were to go back into my journals and try to take my journals apart and say, but Renfail said this in journal entry number 4. And then he said this over in journal entry number 7. But then he said this over in journal entry number 45. But then he said this over... No. What matters is what I put down on the paper when I sold the book. for me personally as an author, that's where my canon ends. My canon is what I have sold you on the page, not what I wrote in my journals when I was creating the version of what I sold you on the page. So I might have notebooks and notebooks and notebooks and notebooks full of notes and ideas and things that I've done with my characters, but none of those are canon unless it's on the page in the printed version of the book that has been sold to you, the reader. That's where canon ends for me personally. And so, yeah, all of these extended notes and my dad died and I'm going to publish. Cool. That's awesome. It's great to get a thought process. It's great to see that thought process. But this is when I get a little lost in the weeds sometimes with any of the big franchises, because people want to try to pick what is or isn't canon, and they'll pick like, but Tolkien said in Middle Earth, Volume 37. Okay. So for me personally, my version of Tolkien canon begins and ends with The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Whatever was published in The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings and the appendices, that's kind of for me where canon ends. Silmarillion is a little gray territory because it was published post death, but it was pretty much already finished, so I consider the Silmarillion to be official canon. But anything beyond the Silmarillion, I don't personally. Right, they're not really canon. They're always evolving, Hector says. But the problem is many people have tried to claim that the Tales of Middle Earth and all that stuff is somehow canon. It's like, no, it's not. Yeah, we can go one up more. I think that's 3. We need one more. Yes, the art style is awesome. Yeah, War Over Here is a great example. It's a loose adaptation of something, and it's fun, super entertaining. I love it as part of the Middle Earth content that we get to consume as human beings, but yeah, definitely not canon. Who cares? Who cares? It doesn't have to be canon to be able to enjoy it. Like I said, if you're a fan of Middle Earth, then you love Middle Earth, period. Okay, I now have 4 bywater dishes. Let's do that later. Let's go talk to Nora and Lily. First. You're in luck, Assassin Gamer. I've got a video coming out. We clipped it earlier today during the beginning of the stream. So as soon as I wrap up the stream here in a little bit, I will be cutting that video out and that'll be going live on YouTube. But it is a cooking guide that tells you how to do all the stuff over on the bottom right on how to like get the perfect dish. So that guide will be coming out shortly because as soon as I wrap up the stream, it's getting cut, clipped, and shipped. 10 cases. Do I need to play or watch anything before it? Before what? Before this game? No. It's just a Hobbit game. If you love The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, then you're gonna love this game. Woo! I got my first hops. Oh, I just unlocked something new. I can now alter textures and flavors of more ingredients with the mixing bowl. So this is another cooking station. So before I had the cutting board and the frying pan. Now I also have a mixing bowl. This helps me make compatible ingredients crisp and can use a different variety of seasonings from other stations. The more cooking stations you own, the more control over texture and flavor, meaning more delicious meals to share with everyone. Oh, there's other things too. Looks like there's a pot, something in front of the cooking board, and something to the right of the mixing bowl. So there's 3 more additional cooking stations that I'm gonna unlock. Oh, you know what? I think the pot is actually the pot might be I might already have some of these. The pot, the one to the right, I think that's that's the flour jar, which I already have, I think. Maybe. But there's more. It looks like there's more to get. That's cool. All right, Nora. You're going to be down in your shop. Sure, let's go for a walk. What's up, JP? Tell you a Bywater story. The Cottons came here hundreds of years ago from the Brandywine Meadows. One day, another family arrived. The Cottons went to meet them. The father of the family was turning around, soon produced a grinding noise. We lost our dog. Cottons wanted help, so they ground the stone. Came back carrying some trout they fished from the river. Didn't share the trout. That's not nice of them. The family couldn't stop in time. They went in the river too. That family's name is Sandyman. They and the Cottons haven't gotten along ever since. It's one of my mathams. Now I've told it it's your story. It's your matham too. Okay, I think we need to plan a meal now for everybody since I have the village meal. Oh, and I have a new shirt I bought. I bought a new outfit for my character, so we need to change that over. So first and foremost, let's send out the invites. Hang on, I need to check. I think we have to do this at the 3 farthing. Yep. One, 2, 3, 4. Tomorrow. And then I have a new outfit. Oh yeah, looking dapper. Why does it always take my cloak off though? Oh yeah, big fan of the new outfit. Look at that. I much prefer that to the white shirt. Sweet. Let's run down the hill really quick and get some fish. Oh, you're gonna take too long. I don't know what fishy you are. Fishy, fishy, fishy. Oh. Nice, I completed another fishing task. This is definitely the easiest of the clubs to level up. And the nice thing is you can sell all the excess for coin. Oh, he disappeared. There he is. Nice! I finished 2 fishing things. So let's go turn into the old man, get my rewards. I actually might need to stash some stuff in the pantry. Oh, it's super cozy, JP. It's exactly what it's supposed to be. Cozy crafting, fishing, cooking, gardening. Let's stash the hops. And I need to go sell the fish. We need to go talk to the old man first. Get my rewards. I am extremely content with this. Like, it's just nice. It's nice to be able to do this as a change of pace, because I play a lot of games that are, action oriented. So it's nice to play something where it's just nothing. Like I can switch my brain off. Got some rosemary seeds and some hedge mustard. And that means I can plant some new stuff in my garden because I got some rosemary, which is going to be some... I think that's the first spices I'll be able to plant. You're right. It's like, especially, we did in July, we've done a ton of Dune Awakening, which was a lot of like spreadsheets and, action and crafting and building. And then Death Stranding 2, which is a lot of like action and crafting and building. And then we played some Neverwinter Nights 2, which is good old-fashioned RPG fun. And then we played some Destiny 2, which is pure action. And then it's nice to just have this come along and be like, no action, no spreadsheets, just crafting and gardening and cooking. And I can switch my brain off. Dune requires a significant... Yeah, Dune is a time commitment. Dune is a time and brain commitment. Like, it's a lot. Like, Dune is definitely a lot. Yes, don't forget your meal dates, which I almost forgot one earlier. Rosemary seeds. Why are my bean seeds... Maybe it's because they're in... Can I plant more than one? Dude, I didn't know you could do more than one in a planter. Well, shit. Just learned something new. So how does this work? I wonder if I have to do each individual one. Did the unfortunate angle of sometimes when you're watering things, just it doesn't look like you're watering things. It's like, hang on. There's an angle here. My teenager brain is like, but it doesn't look like watering. Alright. Nothing more here. Let's go ahead and do a hard save. So I think we are over the 9-hour mark on this game now. Yep. Just about closing on 10 hours, which is pretty cool. But this is going to be where I wrap up this morning stream, everybody. We'll be going for a little over 4 hours. This is a good place for me to take a break. I had 2 breakfasts during the stream today. First and second breakfast, thanks to my wife. I am now going to go to the park and walk off some of the second breakfast and do some other stuff around the house, and then I should be back within about an hour, maybe a little bit less, for the Grounded 2 session of the stream. We're going to move over to Grounded 2. It might not be an hour, it might be more like 30 minutes, more or less. But I am going to take a break, go to the park, work off some of this breakfast, and then we'll be back. Someone says 11sies. Jesus, I don't know if I can handle any more food this morning. I'll be back in a bit, guys, with Grounded 2 as we continue our adventures with Obsidian Entertainment. Thanks for hanging out. I'll be back again later on. Tomorrow morning we'll be back for more Tales of the Shire. Yeah, definitely in like 30 minutes to an hour, Deeks, I'll be back for Grounded 2. And then more Tales of the Shire tomorrow morning. This is the main game, everybody, for the next week or so. We have up until Mafi the Old Country, which comes out on August 8th. In between this, I'll be playing things like Grounded 2. We've still got Death Stranding 2, Destiny 2, Neverwinter Nights 2, little things I'm playing around in the background. So stay tuned for all those things, and I'll be back in a bit.